You are listening to the Word Witch podcast. In today's episode, I'm speaking with Christina Nelson, a nurse that teaches breathwork and meditation. She's worked in a level 1 trauma center for the last 14 years. And being an empath that struggled with anxiety, finding breathwork saved her life. During the pandemic, she realized how much everyone else needs these skills as well. She decided to get certified in breathwork and meditation and has been teaching for 3 years. In this episode, Beth actually walks us through our own guided meditation, and I think you're going to really love it. So let's get into it. Hi, my name is Domenica Million, and I'm an author, writing expert, and author coach. And this is the first podcast dedicated to teaching spiritual development entrepreneurs how to use and apply spirituality, mindset, manifestation, and energetics to writing books in their niche. By writing books in your field of expertise, you establish yourself as an authority in your field, and that alone attracts high-paying clients, gets your inbox flooded with speaking gig requests, and creates more freedom and abundance in your life. Welcome to the Word Witch podcast. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Word Witch podcast. I have with me here Christina, and Christina is a nurse, certified breathwork teacher, and I'm sure you heard from the introduction all of the amazing things that she does. Christina, why don't you just tell us who you are, what you do, and who you serve?
I am a nurse that works in a level 1 trauma center in the OR as my muggle job. So I am an empathic caregiver. I love helping people. That makes me feel amazing. Unfortunately, I had zero skills in processing any of the emotions, be them mine or someone else's. I tried the medication route that helped me for a short while. And then eventually I found breathwork and meditation, and I feel like it saved my life. It allowed me to learn how to thrive, gave me access to my creativity, my joy, all of the things that I had like no access to for many, many years. And then COVID came along and I realized everybody else seriously needs these tools also. So I decided to go and get certified to teach breathwork and meditation.
That's amazing. I'm actually also certified in breathwork and meditation, but more on the like yogic breathwork type of breathwork. How did you discover this, like breathwork and meditation? What was your first experience doing that?
Well, at first, I think I had some of the like sitting there quietly sort of meditations, and I'm like, oh no, not for me. This is never gonna work. All these racing thoughts, all my anxiety did not allow me to just sit there and have a blank mind. So then I found, I think the first form of meditation I did was Ziva meditation. And through that, you just focus on one word a couple times a day, which worked sometimes, and then other times it didn't. Then eventually I found Kundalini yoga, which is like moving, and it has a lot of breath work in it. And being able to use my body and like not just sit there and be blank like and use my breath. It gave me like the mindfulness, the activity, like something to do so that I could really get into it. And you get all of the same benefits as like like a Buddha meditation. But yeah, so it really evolved from there. But Kundalini yoga is where I found my true love of breath work and meditation.
That's an interesting point that you bring up about the breath work giving you a focus and like something to do, like an intention. Whereas I feel like, traditionally we're told to sit down and try to clear your mind and don't have any thoughts. And if you think of something, just let it float by like a little cloud. And for people, especially people like me who have ADHD, it tends to be really hard, especially when there's no like intention. So typically my meditations personally are intention focused. So it'll be like maybe a future pacing meditation, or like specific manifestation type of meditation or something like that. But having the breath work along with the meditation really does allow you to stop all of like the noise, like all the chatter that's happening in your brain, and it focuses on typically a lot of the time a number, like you have to count your breaths. So it's and you also have to focus on like the rise and fall of your chest, or like when you're inhaling and when you're exhaling. So yeah, that's an amazing like um I guess like suggestion for people who might be struggling to meditate is maybe to come to breath work.
Oh, for sure. I love it. I love to basically I have my people come to my in-person classes and we just like breathe and concentrate on what our breath is doing for 1 minute. And I'm like, I just tricked you into meditating. It's as easy as that.
So you're doing in-person breathwork classes and online as well?
Correct.
Okay. And for your online audience, how can they get involved in your breathwork classes?
Well, I do have a free session coming up at the end of March, but I do have an online membership, and that's to set you up with like a daily practice. So that's what really like helped me transform my life, is having that daily set aside time where I practice. So there's 5-minute videos, there's 10-minute, there's 30-minute, and then I have one live hour-long class per month and one live coaching session per month. So yeah, people have something that I hope supports them. There's also a community of other people going through everything that they are, and they have access to me through there as well.
That's awesome. So you mentioned your daily practice. What is your routine like around your own practice? Because I know as somebody who my profession is the thing that, how do I say it in like the right way? Like my profession and my hobby are kind of like the same thing. I'm a writer and I'm also an editor and an author coach. So those worlds are really like intermingled. So my daily routine when it comes to writing has to be super like stringent, or I just like fall off the bandwagon and I won't write forever. Because I'm already so immersed in reading and editing and helping other authors. How do you find time for yourself to do your practice, and what does that sort of look like in your daily life?
Well, it just depends. When I'm working 12-hour shifts at work, that obviously leaves a lot less time, but this is like my 8th year of doing this. I figured out how to have that awareness. And like oftentimes in the moment when I feel myself shift, then I cue into my breath. I cue into my posture. If I'm like, oh, I'm starting to feel a little anxious. What are my shoulders doing? Oftentimes they're starting to go like this. So I bring it back. I take a deep breath into my belly and I just like bring myself one moment of calm, and that helps me like move forward from a better place. But like first thing in the morning, I often will do just 5 minutes of just like grounding intention, like setting up my bubble, my auric bubble, like my shield for the day. When I go into work, I don't want to be like wide open and absorb everyone else's stuff.
Mhm.
Also on the way to work, I do a breath of fire while I'm driving, which I don't recommend if you're brand new to it, but if you're experienced, yeah, I just
Yeah.
do a energizing breath of fire, all, like 3 minutes here and there on the way to work. In the evening time, I have like my little rituals as I go to sleep. I'm with the breath out, I am releasing any energy I've picked up through the day. And with the breath in, I'm calling my power back for rest, healing, and all of the goodness that comes with sleep. And, I kind of like shut my auric field down for the night. I have just these ingrained things that I do daily. And then on the days that I have time, I do the hour-long like deep dives and get in there and like process all kinds of things. So yeah.
So you mentioned, I can't remember if it was before we started recording or during this recording so far, but you mentioned healing work using your breath. What can people do, or what like themes in their lives around healing can they heal through breath work?
There, I mean, breathwork's amazing. It does so much for you. I'm getting holistic nurse certified, and I'm so excited to kind of like bring all of it together. It can help you with high blood pressure, lower your heart rate, strengthen your lungs. I mean, get better sleep. It's just the myriad of things it does is endless. It can help you regulate your blood sugar. I mean, just basically intentionally, it's the only thing that we have that can shift us with our focus from our sympathetic, which is our fight or flight nervous system, to a parasympathetic state. So oftentimes we're stuck, we're in fight or flight, and it might be a fight or flight kind of a freeze state. And it's not healthy to stay on that level. So we have to bring ourselves down so we can really rejuvenate ourselves and give our bodies the chance to do all of that healing. And just by slowing down and breathing into your diaphragm and really having that intentional, full in, full out, just doing that 5 minutes daily, helping your lymphatic system start flowing, all of the detoxification. It supports your organs, getting all of the blood that they need. Like it's just amazing.
That's interesting. I didn't know that breath work helped the lymphatic system. And I feel like within pop culture now, it's really common to see people who are trying to help others with their lymphatic drainage, that it's supposedly the thing that like gives us puffy face or like, other health issues. It could just be from your lymph not draining. Um, Quick to like just kind of, if you like have any knowledge around that, like how does your breath connect to the lymph system?
Well, we have lymph nodes everywhere in our body, but the majority of them are in our abdomen. So when you're actually breathing and using your diaphragm like a pump, so it's a big muscle that lives underneath your rib cage. When you're using that fully like a pump, it
Mhm.
pumps your lymph because your lymph relies on your muscles to move it around your body. So that's like an amazing muscle to use. And so often we're just breathing these shallow little breaths into our chest.
Mhm.
When we bring it down there and fully inhale and exhale, like we're doing amazing things. I
Yeah, is
also
that
fully recommend shaking. Like I love shaking.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, shaking as a practice, just like moving the energy out of your body, and that I guess can also help your lymph. I know we have some like in our armpits and like around our face and stuff, and some in our knees. So moving those body parts, it acts like a pump, right?
Correct.
Very cool. So I know that you like to focus on how breath work helps with anxiety and depression. Can you just speak to me a little bit about that?
Well, for anxiety, it's amazing. Like if you're gonna get like panic attacky or something, like you said, it gives you something to focus on. So I haven't had a lot of like I used to get bad panic attacks. The last one I had, I did a 10 count breath, box breath. And that
Hmm.
like snapped me right out of it because you're really concentrating when you're counting to 10 in, 10 hold, 10 out. That's like 1.5 breaths per minute, which it really was like, oh, wow, I am here, I am the body, and I am now. So a lot of times with anxiety, we get kicked out of our body. We're somewhere up in the ethers, we're worried about the future, the past, but we're not here and present and in our bodies. So it helps us to gain that clarity and that connection with our physical essence.
Very cool. Have you ever read the book Be Here Now by Ram Dass?
I haven't.
Okay, it's an awesome book. I would recommend it to anybody, especially when it comes to being in the present moment. That's pretty much what the book is about. But anyway, so I know that you wanted to walk us through a breathwork session. So if you are listening while you're driving, please don't do this right now. Wait until you go home, maybe pause this, come back to it later, because Christina's going to walk us through a breathwork session.
All right, so I'm just gonna have you put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And then just close your eyes and focus inwards. And now we're just gonna pay attention and observe where our breath is going. We're not going to change it. We're just going to observe it here. So is just your chest rising, or is your belly rising? We're just checking in. And then I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm a nurse, so I love these rating scales. 1 being the worst, 10 being best day ever, couldn't get much better. And then from here, I'm going to have you take your breath and bring it down into your belly. So just your belly is going to rise and fall here. So fully expand the belly on the inhale. Fully contract the belly on the exhale. Beautiful job. Now I'm just going to have you do 3 short inhales through the nose and 1 long exhale through the mouth. So it'll sound like this. And we're just going to do this breath for a few minutes here and see how we feel afterwards. So this breath should be going all the way into your belly, fully inflating the belly using your diaphragm, and then fully contracting and letting all of the air release. Last breath with intention. And now I'm going to have you take a big, deep inhale in. Hold the breath at the top and then squeeze your root chakra, squeeze the base of your spine, all of the muscles of everything you used to go to the bathroom, and feel your energy spiraling up your spine, out the top of your head, and exhale. And now just check into your body. We literally just did like 3 minutes of breath work. See if anything has changed. And go back to your scale and see if you've moved at all on the scale of 1 to 10. Amazing job. You can open your eyes.
Wow, the world is brighter.
Good.
So, okay, do you want me to tell you like what I feel, what I felt, all that stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so my body was like tingly all over after the first few sharper breaths. Um, and I don't know if you've ever done like Wim Hof, but that same tingliness and like elevated feeling, a little bit like high almost. Like if you ever had like one of those oxygen machines and like you kind of get a little bit like of an oxygen high. Um, and so my scale when I started, I was at like a 3. It was a pretty stressful day. I had a lot going on. Um, and at the end of it, it moved all the way up to like a 7. So, and
Amazing.
yeah, and yeah, just like brought me back down into my body. I felt more inside myself rather than above myself. I tend to live like up here. I'm a Pisces rising, so I'm always a little bit more in the ethereal. And I find it hard. I have a hard time like grounding into my body, and I feel like that's exactly what I did just now. So, thank you so much for that. That was beautiful.
Beautiful. I love that. Yeah, any cold or hot sensations, tingling in the hands or feet, kind of like maybe numbness, feeling a little high, maybe a little dizzy, all of that's totally normal. It's just your shift in your carbon dioxide levels. The only people I would not recommend doing breath work without talking to their doctors first is people with heart and lung conditions. They
Mhm.
really need to make sure if you have any like aortic aneurysm, I definitely would not do breath holds. That can be dangerous. But otherwise, most people are good with it. If you do have underlying conditions, always check with your doctor. But I feel like it improves basically everyone's life. So I'm for everyone doing it. Yeah, like you saw, it was just the tiniest little practice. I mean, imagine how you feel after an hour long one. Like it's so good. You just feel like you're on a whole nother earth plane or, level of existence. So yeah, you can get high on your own supply and no need for drugs. I mean, I used to dabble in things like magic mushrooms. And back when I was a teenager, I would use marijuana to treat my depression and anxiety. And like, I have no desire to ever touch any of that stuff ever again because I can just access my breath, find clarity, access all the things I need for my personal growth and just to move me through like any situation. It's given me like such greater confidence, just such greater access to my life's purpose, being able to get messages like about how to move forward, all of that stuff. It's just become clearer and clearer as time goes on.
I love that. Yeah, I'm definitely a space cadet. I still do dabble I feel like, yeah, like plant medicine and stuff like that it's like breath work and spirituality on steroids. And I know that's like such a terrible simile, but it's almost like when I've done like holotropic breathwork sessions that are like an hour long, and I wouldn't say that it's as potent as a magic mushroom or an ayahuasca experience, but you definitely do still get that feeling in your body, that tingliness. And if you do it long enough and you do it right, you do kind of get a little bit of the like geometric shapes behind your eyes, like if your eyes are closed. Um, but yeah, I think all things in moderation are fine. You don't want to be like over supplementing your anxiety and depression with uh, those types of things. And of course, always like talk to a medical professional before starting any new practice, whether it's breath work or um, drugs or, just anything. Just, your health and safety is the most important thing. Christina, what have you got going on? I know you said that you have something at the end of March. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I have a free breathwork session, so it's going to be an hour-long session. I'm going to do some discussion on the benefits of breathwork, and then we'll do a half hour of active breathing. And that's really just to essentially give the world a little bit back and give them a taste of what breathwork can do for you. So yeah, March 30th, it's a Sunday at 11 a.m. I have a free hour-long session that I'm offering, and I'm super excited. Anybody who wants to come, please come.
Awesome. So, my listeners are primarily spiritual teachers who are trying to elevate their businesses. They are trying to maybe move out of their full-time jobs into their spiritual practices full-time. We do that here by writing books. Do you have any book recommendations for people wanting to get into breath work and meditation and really go down this journey of healing through breath work?
Ooh, that's an amazing question. Um, they're not breathwork specific, but personal growth wise, lately I have been all about Let Them by Mel Robbins, which has
Hmm.
helped me release like a lot of my I'm a Virgo, and I have a lot of tendencies to like want to fix people. So it's helped me release a lot of control, and like I want to help people. So I'm like, well, if you just did it my way, you'd be just doing so much better. But
Uh-huh.
release all that and let people be on their own path. So Let Them by Mel Robbins has been my favorite book lately. And then I do love The Four Agreements by Don
Mm,
Miguel Ruiz.
yep. Oh, I
Um,
had it on my desk a little while ago, but I think I put it back on the shelf. That one is such a classic. It's for anyone just beginning their journey. I feel like that's a very beginner friendly book into the spiritual and personal development world.
I feel like every time I read it, though, I get something new out of it. So
Mhm.
it definitely meets you wherever you're at for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that with all books, though. It's like you're
True.
in such a different place in your life, whether it's spiritually or, personally, when you're reading a specific book, and then when you come back to it, maybe months or years later, it's a completely different book.
For sure.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we hop off?
Um, Just that if you're struggling and overwhelmed, there's so many different tools out there. Even if breath work and meditation isn't the end all be all for you, like just keep looking. There is something for everyone. This world is such a beautiful, vibrant place. Don't settle for anything that doesn't make you feel your best. Like keep looking because it's out there.
That is so true. I feel like when I first started really like getting into shadow work and trying to heal myself, I went into yoga because I feel like that's kind of everybody's first um, foray into the spiritual development world. And I was already a practicing witch, but I wanted something else that was a little bit more centered around my body. And I did yoga for a little while, and I honestly, it wasn't for me personally to do on like a consistent basis. I do still come back to it every once in a while. I do it at the gym, like if to stretch and to breathe and to like kind of come back down. But yeah, for me, meditation has been the biggest part. Um, and I think not Kundalini, Yoga Nidra? Have you gotten into Yoga Nidra?
I'm not sure. Right now, my favorite is yin yoga. Like lay me on a pillow for
Yeah.
an hour. I don't care.
Yeah, I think they're really similar. Actually, when I was teaching yoga, yin was my favorite because it was so relaxing and it was like meditation with stretching. It's the best. Um, but I think Yoga Nidra has more to do with like meditation. And I think I want to say it's guided. I don't know. I haven't tried it out for myself yet, but one of my clients teaches Yoga Nidra. And I might have her come on and do like a little session for us. But anyway, all of that to say that your practice, what works for you is going to be different depending on your personality type and just like your likes and dislikes. So don't feel like if you don't take to breath work that you're broken or that, it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just not for you. So, yeah. Christina, what can my listeners do? How can they connect with you?
You can reach me at Calm Peaceful Life. So that's my Instagram name. It's calm.peaceful.life. My Facebook page is Calm Peaceful Life. My YouTube is Calm Peaceful Life. So I believe I gave you my link tree, so that should
Yep.
give you access to my free class that's coming up and all of the socials.
Awesome. We will link all of that in the show notes and below this YouTube video if you are watching over YouTube. And yeah, I will see you all in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Come follow us on social media at our handle @WordWitchCC. That's WordWitch, C for copy, C for consulting, and don't forget to hit subscribe to keep the magic flowing. See you in the next episode.